It's the temporally scripted top 5. What have you got for us this week, Adam, sir?
This is just I couldn't think of anything when I thought, all right, let's do some like weird currencies from around the world in history.
I
So it's
like
not
it.
like, yeah, so it's not rare coins or anything. It's just really weird stuff. Okay, anyway. So the first one is from the island of Yap, which is in Micronesia. And there people use rice stones. So it started out, they would just use like little sort of round discs with a hole cut in the middle, and it would be little stones. And they'd use those as currency to buy things, to barter with people. But over time, these got bigger and bigger to a point where the largest ones are about 10 feet.
Right.
And of just like, imagine like a 10-foot stone donut, basically. And some of the weird things are it doesn't actually, ownership doesn't require possession. So I could have this stone, but it could be in your garden for like a decade or something, but it's still my stone, even though it's on your land and things like that. And yeah, and so people wouldn't necessarily move them. They just go, oh, well, you can have my rice stone that's in so-and-so's garden.
That
And
sounds
I'll
like the
swap that
blockchain.
for, it does. Literally. An early form of it.
Wow, that's crazy.
But yeah, it is really crazy. And that's just what they use for currency.
I suppose that all currency is ridiculous, really. So there's no reason for that to be any less ridiculous. I just wonder what the use would be. But then again, what's the use of paper and coins and whatever else? You know, at least you can go and sit on a stone and look at a stone and be like, "Hey lads, come and have a look at my stone. Got this massive stone I've just got. Check it out."
Yeah, I'll swap it for your car or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I
Well,
don't
sounds
think I don't think they actually use this currency so much now, but it was just something from the past. But yeah, it's really interesting.
that's crazy. That's crazy. History currencies. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the next one is also going back a little bit, which was during the Aztec times, and people used cacao beans because cacao was like really just desirable and useful to the Aztecs. If you imagine it's nutritious, it's tasty. You can store these beans for a long time as well. So legend has it you could have 100 beans and you could swap that for a turkey if you went to the market.
Nice. I like that, and it makes sense because it's what becomes like chocolate. So that's the earliest sign of real money, right?
Yeah, I think can't remember what it was called, atole or something like that. They'd make this drink with like corn flour and water, and then add some cacao and cinnamon. Probably the first hot chocolate.
Nice. Throw in some ayahuasca alongside it, and you got a happy evening out.
Yeah, but you had to be a little bit careful at the marketplace though, because like say if I'm there with my cacao beans and I've gone down to the market and I want to buy some corn, and you're selling corn, and I say I'll have 2 kilos, please, and so do the trade. And then I look and go, this looks like 1.5 kilos. What I could do is I could call the sort of market cops. The market cops would come over and then they'd check it. And if you've been selling it under, then you'd be punished, possibly by death, often by death. But the interesting thing was, if it turns out that it was 2 kilos and it was me that was wrong, then I would be punished with the punishment that you would have got, which would have been death, quite likely.
So nobody's complaining and nobody's underselling. That's great. They should do more of that now. What happens if you want to buy cacao beans though? How do you buy
I
them?
guess you'd trade it for something else. I'm not sure how that would work. Get some
'Cause
feathers or.
can I have a kilo of cacao? Yeah, that's 1 kilo of cacao, please. Okay, here you go. Can I have a kilo of? Yeah, there's an infinite void leap there.
Well, apparently people did. There's evidence of people making fake cacao beans, so maybe that's part of where it came from. I don't know.
Humans. Wonderful. What's the number 3?
And then the 3 was the tea standard. So we had tea bricks, which were breakable money. And this was in China, Tibet, Mongolia, Siberia. And it was literally, as it sounds, just tea. But it was pressed into blocks, and sometimes it was scored, so you could easily break it off. So if you imagine, like, I don't know, a brick is like a £10 note, and then you break off your individual squares to use the pound.
It's giving me flashbacks of something from my teenage years, but I can't remember exactly what. Anyway, moving on.
But there's probably a reason for that.
What's number 4?
Number 4 is in New France or Canada. And this is around 1685. And it happened a few times during the French regime. But they'd run out of paper money and coins. So they started using playing cards. And so the cards would be either cut in certain ways or just marked and stamped, and they'd use that as money. So it's like, I don't know, you could go to a store or something. It's like, oh, I'll have this bottle of whiskey, this bit of bread. So, okay, well, we've got the Queen of Hearts and the 2 diamonds. Is that all right? Yeah, nice. Okay, thanks.
What a world.
That must be how it worked.
That's a magician's like beauty. You're like, oh, I give you this one, and then it's like, wait, hold on.
Hang on, did you just switch that?
What's going on here? No, don't know what you're on about. You basically
a magician's
some
paradise.
kind of god there. Amazing.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back to 1685 or whatever it was. Sounds like a great place to be.
Yeah, 1685 is too plaguey, isn't it? You don't want to get all plagued up and stuff. That's not cool.
It is a little bit. Just
What we got?
Things. Didn't have any
Fine.
talc to sort of help with the plague either. It's not...
Yeah, you got these boils you can't talc up.
Can't talc up my boils. That sounds a bit funny. Right. Okay, and the final one was white gold, which is when salt was used as money. So one of the famous examples was in Ethiopia, where they'd have actual bars of salt. Because obviously the deal with salt is it's actually highly valuable, especially in the past, because you can use it to preserve. So it's like if you catch a fish, really need to eat it that day. However, you cover it in salt, you can keep it for, I don't know, weeks, even more, months. Same as how we make ham these days, especially like Serrano ham, Parma ham, things like that. And so also... So this is kind of a funny one as well. So a lot of people think that the word salary comes from salt because Roman soldiers were paid in salt.
Celery. Celery is rubbish without salt. Yeah.
Celery is rubbish without salt. But yeah, apparently our word salary does come from the Latin word salarium, which is linked to salt. And saying languages like Spanish or Italian, sal is salt. And so the idea is that Roman soldiers weren't paid in salt, but they were paid a salary, which they could use to buy salt. And so it kind of links, and but there's kind of another myth about them being paid in salt, and that's where salary comes from. And it's kind of true, but it's not.
That's crazy. And so you can then eat what you get paid if you wanted. You know, if you've got you're down the market and you've just got like a portion of French fries, or being stupid, French fries wouldn't have been invented back then, but chips, and you're like, oh, I've just been paid, I'm gonna crinkle a little bit of that for my chips.
Yeah, kind of. But not exactly. Oh, you'd have the money to... Anyway. It's something along them lines. And anyway, I think that was a top 5 that was worth its salt.
Oh, that's beautiful. If that isn't worth a subscribe and a like, ladies and gentlemen, then you are on the wrong channel and you have no soul.
I concur.
Yeah, I was going to try and do salt as a play on word as soul, but it just wouldn't have been as good as your joke, so we'll leave it there.
Sad times. Okay, well.
That brings us to the end, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for sticking with us, for listening to our wild ramblings as we went across the news, across the globe. We'll be back again next week. Don't forget to keep your eye out on Thursdays for our top 5s, and we'll see you in the next one. Adam, pleasure as always, my friend.
Indeed it is. See you next time, folks.